If music production feels confusing, the aspect of beat making, chord and harmony and voice production, this video will make it clear.
Hello and welcome to Miracle Music Lab. My name is Miracle, and on this channel I will be teaching you music production and some other areas that we have said and mentioned on the WhatsApp platform. So basically we're going to teach music production using a certain DAW, and we'll talk about music theory, talk about beat making and so on, and we are going to try to be practical with whatever we're going to be discussing. So today I will just want to talk briefly on I have another notification coming in right now that somebody's saying it is not going through. Okay, somebody's trying to join the class. All right, so basically this first video will be talking about the music production foundations for absolute beginners. So I want to believe that, okay, for every one of us on this platform, be it you might have had an experience in one area or the other, let's just assume we are all just starting on a new note. So if you're just starting music production and everything feels confusing, beat making, chords, mixing, church music arrangement, definitely this video is for you, and I would love if you can watch the video down to the end. In this lesson I will explain music production from the very beginning in the simplest way possible, even if you have never touched any music software before. By the end of this video you will clearly understand how beats, chords, arrangement and all mixing all work together. At least let's just say a theoretical approach. So if you want to learn music production step by step without confusion, just subscribe to this channel because I'll be posting beginner friendly lessons consistently. What is music production? Let us start with the most important question. What is music production? Music production is the process of creating music from an idea to a finished song. So basically music production is just about beat making. It is not only about mixing, it is everything combined. It involves creating an idea, it involves making beat or rhythm to that idea, and that will make that idea come to life, adding chords and melody, arranging the song and mixing the sound all together. Think of music production like cooking. You don't just put ingredients together randomly, you have to follow some steps. Yeah, when beginners skip these steps, that is when the confusion will start. Now, understanding beats, because I noticed many of us also opted for beats this, beats that. Now let's talk about beats briefly. A beat is the rhythm of a song. A beat has to do with the rhythm of a song. It is what makes you nod your head, dance or feel the groove. So basically the pulse in a particular music is actually the beat. So sometimes, in fact, most of our music, Afro beats and all, and some other music like that are actually done in 4/4. That's whereby when you clap 4 fingers or you tap your feet or even you are nodding your head, you can feel the beat within you, and you are like counting 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So once that movement goes like that, you're already trying to get a beat. And a simple beat has 3 main sound: the kick, which is the heavy boom sound; the snare or clap, which I will call the power sound. That sound, it gives it a kind of power; and you have the hi-hat that will give you that tickling sound. So you don't need many sounds to actually make a good beat. Many beginners make the mistake of using too many sounds. So simple beats sound better than crowded beats. So basically, if music was a house, the beat is actually the foundation. And when you talk about chords and harmony, a chord is when you play more than one note together, while harmony is how those chords work together smoothly. You can discover that these are two different ideologies. When you talk about playing a chord, you're just hearing 2 or more sounds sounding simultaneously together. They are vertical, one above another. So, but when we talk about harmony has to do with how these notes work together, how they are able to move smoothly. Be it you have having the consonants or dissonance type of music, depending. But we are after is to add our emotions to our music, and through the use of our chord we are able to achieve that. So basically I would want to say, when you think of chord, think of the chord as the emotion, what carries the emotion of the music. For instance, we have the happy sound, the happy emotion, which can be called the major chords, and we have the sad or the emotional one, which can be called the minor chord. So in church music, chords and harmony are very important because they guide the singers, they guide the instruments, and they guide the atmosphere of the music ministration. Without chords, your beat will feel empty. Without harmony, and your music will feel confusing. All right. Now, talking about arrangement, I'm only just saying these things briefly as this is an introductory video. So I would love you to watch it to the end, and the next video I'll be making of course, we'll start something there. So you can just jot your points from this particular video. Arrangement simply means order. It's just as simple as that. I said I'll be explaining these things. I'll try to break them down as simple as possible, not using all these ambiguous musical terms. Arrangement simply means order. When you try to place things in order, when you try to put things in order, it answers questions like, okay, how do you want the music to start? What is going to start the song? And when do the drums enter? When do the instrument or instrumental stops? And when does the song become louder or softer? That's when we talk about dynamics. So these are things that you do in live music, church music. Likewise, in music production at the studio, we do the same thing as well. We try to observe things. In church music, for example, the keyboard alone may start. Yes, there can be a kind of ministration whereby you will just hear the piano or the keyboard coming in and playing the intro or something, and then the drums will eventually join, and then the voices will come in on board. So that's order is actually called arrangement, and good arrangement make music sound more professional. And when you talk about mixing, don't forget I said this is just a kind of overview, introduction on what we want to learn in this episodes that we're going to be learning in this episode. So we can have the class within 3 to 6 months. And mixing is not magic. Talking about mixing, yes, mixing is not magic. Mixing simply means balancing sound so everything can be heard clearly. That's just it. So it's not about just adding effects. It's not about bombarding the music. It's all about trying to get the balance, trying to get the flow, trying to make it look natural as much as possible. Imagine you recorded in an enclosed room and you want that enclosed room to sound as if, yes, you recorded in a hall. All right. So it means the concept or the ideology you are going to have to employ must, more open. You have to be more open-minded, yes, to be able to know what you want to do. Mixing simply means balancing sound so everything can be heard clearly. That's just the goal of mixing, to hear everything clearly. So if you are playing 100 instruments, we want to hear them clearly. And if you are using just one, let us hear it clearly. Mixing answers questions like, is the kick too loud? Is the keyboard covering the vocal? Can we hear everything clearly? These are liable questions that you ask yourself when you're mixing. Mixing is not about adding plenty of effects, like I've said earlier. It is all about clarity and balance. And there are some common beginner mistakes that we make, and I wouldn't want us to have that kind of mistake. That's why I'm saying this ahead. Some beginners actually jump into advanced mixing too early. There's a brother I'm taking presently. I think I've went to his place twice, and he has been sending just twice. Most times we have virtual classes, but I've gone to meet him twice just to set up some things for him. And he has been sending me, at least he has sent like 3 tracks within 2 weeks that he has worked on. Although I'm yet to start taking him mixing, but just the recording, he has worked on 3 different tracks. And when I heard those music, I was like, wow, no one will hear this and say you have just started within 2 weeks, just 2 weeks of teaching. So I believe you as well, if you are passionate enough, that's why I say the class is free, but just for us to be committed and for us to have easy access to all these lessons, I'll be dropping them on the YouTube platforms. So you download them, you save in your archive. And when you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section and I'll talk about it. And sometimes you will have to talk about it in the WhatsApp platform, but I would love the YouTube comment section, so that that'll be more open. It is not everybody that will be on the WhatsApp platform or that might immediately be on the WhatsApp platform. So I would want to have our comments on both platforms so that I'll be able to read them interwovenly. So let me quickly move ahead. Okay, yeah, another common beginner mistake is using too many sounds. I made that mistake when I started as well, some few years ago, yes, whereby as I'm playing my sound, even sometimes I still have that experience. Sometimes I still make those mistakes as well, sometimes, whereby you feel like, oh, this music is not yet full, oh, this music is not yet this, oh, this. Sometimes it's not all about being full, it's just about being free, not full, being free and having that clarity of sound. Sometimes it might just be pad that you will need, and sometimes it might just be the work of a synthesizer. It depends on the kind of music, the genre of the music you are making. And like another thing is that sometimes we ignore chords and harmony. Yes, that's another very important point. When the musician or the artist have sung their own song, and you're trying to work on the chords, sometimes we tend to use some notes that do not agree. They are not in agreement with the chord we are using. So sometimes we ignore chords and harmony. I've listened to some songs whereby the chord progression is going this way and the notes that were being sung will be going the other route. So it is one of the common beginner mistakes. Likewise, we love to expect fast results. From experience, I've encountered that with some people telling me, oh, why am I not getting this? I'm supposed to have been doing this and this and this and that, stuff like that. So expecting fast results, music production is a journey, and it's not a journey that you just get to your destination, easily like that or very quickly like that. The more you keep practicing, and the more you keep practicing, the more you keep getting better. If the foundation is weak, everything else will collapse. I want you to take note of that. So let us build our foundation. Let our foundation be strong. Take your time. No one is rushing you. Take your time. The sky is even the sky is not the limit. So let's just take our time. And what you need, yes, let me talk about briefly on that. Many will be like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this gadget, I don't have this gadget yet. What are the things I need? How do I go about it? Well, for music production, you don't need expensive equipment. You need to have a phone or a laptop. You can have a phone or a laptop. Although if you have a laptop, which is your PC, it will make your work more faster, more professional, easier as well compared to a phone. But even if you don't have the capacity of getting a laptop, there are still some apps that can still be used on the phone, and you will still, start something. And from there, you can start, once you have the knowledge, before you know it, you start making money. And from there, you'll be able to get or upgrade and get some jazz. So don't worry, we'll talk about those apps both for phones and for PCs. And you need to have a DAW, which is your digital audio workstation, like FL Studio. Example of that is FL Studio, Cubase, Logic, and others. Personally, I use Cubase. And you need to have your headphones or your speaker, your output speaker. Then the last point I wrote here is you need to have the willingness to practice. Yes, that is just it. You need to have that passion for what you're doing. If genuinely you want to learn this music production, or you want to have theoretical knowledge of music, you want to know more about church arrangements and all, you must have that willingness to practice, because you'll be engaged, you'll be asked to make researches and all that, and all those things will contribute to the knowledge. So skills matter more than equipment. Yes, I want you to take note of that point as well. Your skill matters more than the equipment. Once you have the skill, you can actually use any equipment. But when you have equipment, you don't have the skill, then the equipment will just be there. So in the next lessons, we'll go deeper into beat making from scratch, chords and harmony practically, church music arrangements, and mixing basic for beginners. So I will pick those topics one after the other, and we'll watch them and we'll listen to them as well. And if this lesson has helped you understand a bit of music production, this is just an introductory class. I would like you to like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. Drop a comment telling me the DAW you use personally, if you have an idea already, and one thing that you have just learned from this video. This will help me as well and keep me going. It will motivate me. I will see you in the next lesson. Let's grow musically together.